What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. MLB, Philadelphia Phillies versus Arizona Diamondbacks. So, in this game, the Diamondbacks have a 51.9% chance to win, and the Phillies have a 48.1% chance to win. And this is at Philadelphia. And for pitchers, Pafat for the Diamondbacks has an ERA of 2.78 and a WHIP of 1.12. And Nola for the Phillies has an ERA of 5.4 and a WHIP of 1.4. So, home field advantage is with the Phillies, but the pitching advantage is definitely in the favor of the Diamondbacks. I mean, ERA over 5, that's not great. You don't want that. ERA above 5 versus an ERA below 3. I mean, it's a definite pitching advantage for Diamondbacks. And despite being at Philly, I think the pitching advantage will help the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies tomorrow. Seattle Mariners versus Texas Rangers. So the Mariners have a 57.5% chance to win, and the Rangers have a 42.5% chance to win. This is at Texas. And for pitchers, Castillo for the Mariners has an ERA of 3.62 and a WHIP of 1.39. And Corbin for the Rangers has an ERA of 3.79 and a WHIP of 1.58. So pitching is pretty close between the two. Like numbers wise, that's pretty close. This could be interesting pitching matchup. So I think with how close it is, I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing. So I'm picking the Rangers to beat the Mariners tomorrow. Chicago Cubs versus Milwaukee Brewers. So the Cubs have a 49.5% chance to win, and the Brewers have a 50.5% chance to win. And this is at Milwaukee. For pitchers, Talon for the Cubs has an ERA of 4.01 and a WHIP of 1.1. And Quintana for the Brewers has an ERA of 1.14 and a WHIP of 1.14. So with the Cubs pitcher having ERA above 4, and the Brewers pitcher having ERA a little above 1, that's a definite pitching advantage for the Brewers. And I mean Talon has pitched more innings than Quintana, but that ERA difference, I mean, it's definitely the advantage of the Brewers. So with pitching advantage and home field advantage, I'm picking the Brewers to beat the Cubs tomorrow. NBA. Denver Nuggets versus Los Angeles Clippers, Game 7. So, series is tied 3-3. Whoever wins this game moves on to the second round. Yeah. So the Clippers have a 43.6% chance to win, and the Nuggets have a 56.4% chance to win. This is at Denver. So yeah, this is gonna be a really good game. Both teams have played pretty well in this series. And both have good rosters. Nuggets, they are missing the coach because they stupidly fired him right before the playoffs started. And but this is at Denver, and they have a good roster, and I think that roster will carry with home field advantage will carry the Nuggets to a victory over the Clippers to take them to the second round. College baseball. Clemson Tigers versus Florida State Seminoles, Game 2. So at the time recording this, the Seminoles are ahead of the Tigers 1-0, bottom of the sixth in game one. So if they hold on, if Florida State holds on to win, they'll be up 1-0 the series, and tomorrow they have a chance to clinch it. Or if the Tigers come back ahead, then the Seminoles could have a chance to tie it. So this is at Florida State. That's going to be important. Two teams pretty close in ranking, with Clemson at 3, Florida State at 5. This is gonna be a really good series. I think with it being at Florida State, I think the Seminoles beat the Tigers tomorrow. Auburn Tigers versus Tennessee Volunteers. So this is game 2 of the series. Game 1 has not started yet at the time of recording this. So this is a good one with Tennessee at 12, Auburn 10. This is at Tennessee, which has become a hard place to play in for baseball. Who have thought that in the time since Todd Helton left? So yeah, I think with it being at Tennessee, while this could be a really good game, I think the Volunteers beat the Tigers tomorrow. Louisville Cardinals versus Notre Dame Fire and Irish, game 3. So Louisville won the first game. Then at the time recording this, Notre Dame is up 4-2, top of the fourth in game 2. So if Notre Dame holds on to win, they tie the series. If Louisville comes back, Louisville clinches the series with the chance to sweep tomorrow. Now this series is at Notre Dame. I would say right now, if we're assuming Notre Dame holds on to win today, they could tie the series. Tomorrow they'll clinch the series. That'll make things interesting. And a lot of times game 3s, that's where you have your worst weekend pitchers. Louisville 17 in the nation, Notre Dame unranked. I think Louisville wins the game tomorrow and wins the series. LSU Tigers versus Texas A&M Aggies. So game 1 for this series got postponed to tomorrow. I don't know if it was due to rain or if there was something else going on. My guess would be rain. But so there's both games are going to be tomorrow. So it's at A&M, but LSU's really good. I mean, they're number 2 in the nation. But with it being at A&M, this could be an interesting series. It feels in Baton Rouge, A&M doesn't have a stand chance. They'd probably get swept. With them being the home team, it's a little interesting. I think I think the LSU Tigers win both games tomorrow to clinch the series. NC State Wolfpack versus Miami Hurricanes, game 2. So at the time recording this, Miami is ahead of NC State 2-1, bottom of the third. So if Miami holds on to win, they have a chance to clinch the series tomorrow. And NC State then has a chance to tie it tomorrow, or vice versa. So yeah, this is at Miami, one of the biggest baseball towns in the United States. Big series. This could be a really good one. Despite being at Miami, I think NC State pulls out the win tomorrow to either tie the series if Miami wins tonight or clinch it if NC State comes back to win tonight. Alabama Crimson Tide versus Vanderbilt Commodores. So we have the 18 team versus the 15 team, in the nation. This is at Vanderbilt, so the Whistler's gonna be out there being an obnoxious prick. You know, so yeah, that'll cause problems for Alabama. And Vanderbilt probably will have more fans there than Alabama does because it's baseball. So significant home field advantage for Vanderbilt. And yeah, I think that will give the Commodores the win tomorrow. Ole Miss Rebels versus Oklahoma Sooners, game 2. So at the time of recording this, the game 1 is tied 0-0, bottom of the first. And so game 2 being tomorrow, we have the number 23 team versus the number 21 team. This is at Oklahoma, so that'll mean something, with home field advantage. Ole Miss, pretty good team. This was at Ole Miss. The Sooners would be freaking screwed if it was at Ole Miss. But with this being at Oklahoma, I think the Sooners pull out the win tomorrow. Texas versus Arkansas, game 3. So game 1 was won by Arkansas, and at the time recording this, Arkansas is up 6-1, bottom of the 7th in game 2. So if Arkansas hangs on to win, they clinch the series. And tomorrow they have a chance to sweep. And Texas tomorrow, assuming they lose tonight, they have a chance to salvage a win so they don't to avoid a sweep. And this is at Arkansas. Arkansas, both teams are really good. Texas being number 1 in the nation, Arkansas being 11. Now Texas probably will drop if Arkansas wins today, because that'd be Texas losing the series. So I don't think Texas is gonna get swept. Even though it's at Arkansas, I don't think Texas is gonna get swept. I think Texas wins game 3 tomorrow to avoid a sweep. TCU Horned Frogs versus Arizona Wildcats. Game 2. So game 1 has not started at the time of recording this. So can't say whether or not who have a chance to clinch the series tomorrow, who wouldn't have a chance to tie it. But this is at Arizona. It's a big, Big 12 matchup. Arizona being 24 in the nation, TCU having a very good record for an unranked team. Big series, but I think with it being at Arizona, I think the Wildcats win the game tomorrow. UCLA Bruins versus USC Trojans, game 2. So game 1 has not started yet at the time of recording this. So yeah. So I can't say who has a chance to clinch or tie, but it's in Los Angeles, but where both schools are at. So there's not much of a home field advantage either way. I mean, so UCLA is 14 in the nation. USC is a pretty good record for a unranked team. Two big baseball schools. UCLA having made having made the NCAA tournament a lot. They've won. They've won one national championship. USC having 12 national championships. The most out of any school. You know. So yeah, this is a big series. Like, could be a very packed series, like attendance wise. I mean, I don't think it'll be like SEC level attendance because SEC baseball games get a lot of attendance. But this could still get a decent crowd. But I think UCLA with how they play this season, I think UCLA beats USC tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.